There we go. It should have recording. I see the green check mark. So,
Yep, I do as well.
hi everyone. Today I'm joined with Castro with don't let me butcher this, Tusi or Tussie?
Tusi.
Tusi. Okay. So, why don't you tell us more about your experiences getting into design?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So I guess to help paint the picture, I can kind of introduce Tusi a little bit. So basically, what I've tried to do is bridge the gap between the creative side of things and design. Previously, in my experience in corporate, I was actually in recruiting, which is like, okay, so how did you get into design, right? Basically, my biggest interest always was in marketing and advertisement. It's actually what I got my degree in college. And I fell into recruiting because I really wanted to help people. I thought that there was something that was really attractive about like getting someone an opportunity or giving like being able to change someone's life, right? You give someone a new job offer and that can help them pay their bills or get to that next goal in life or something like that. So that's really what attracted me. And then once I got into the role of a recruiter, which I was in for about 3+ years, one in an agency and then in my other jobs following that, I was in like corporate tech. So I got to see a few different sides of the recruitment sphere. And what I really was interested in was basically like branding myself on LinkedIn, I guess. And I thought that that was a really powerful tool because, of course, when we're trying to attract like top talent, it was a lot easier when I was reaching out to talent and I was posting about the company or posting about myself, and people had either come across something that I posted about or was able to go to my page, and it helped me reach a lot of different people. And it actually helped me reach a lot of people that my colleagues couldn't get a hold of because they thought that those people were just like spam accounts, right? Like a robot reaching out to them. So I really saw like the benefit and the value of what basically having a personal brand or a strong sense of brand could do for someone. And then during that time, I guess like in my third year of recruiting, the tech sector was very up in the air. Silicon Valley Bank had just shut down. People's money was everywhere. There was layoffs happening all across tech. And the downside, I guess, of being in recruiting is that usually when companies are firing people, they're not hiring people. So recruiters are the first to go. So I kind of knew that I didn't want to stay in recruiting anymore at that point. And I, at that time, was recruiting for product designers and product managers. So I was kind of in the design sphere. And I didn't really know that design was like, I guess at that point in time, right, like a solid volatile option for someone to pursue as a career path. I came from a very like corporate family background. My dad was in finance, so like the creative realm was something that it was like use it as a passion. Don't use it as a way to build a career. Basically, is kind of like this weird thought that was always instilled in my head. But I've always been a very creative person. I'm very heavily tattooed, and I've drawn up some of my own tattoos. And I just really like the ability to express myself. So I figured that if I was going to go through a career shift, I might as well try to go into a more creative role. And I landed on doing a product design workshop actually through Design Lab. So that was focused all on UI, UX, but a lot of what it taught was basically just like design fundamentals. I was always someone who drew a lot when I was little, and just really liked the realm of like creativity, especially when it came to being like hands on with the actual creative process. So after doing the Design Lab program, which I did full time from June to December, I wanted to go and start my design career. But being in the recruiting sphere and seeing that the job market was really just up in the air, I figured that it was going to be a little bit tough for me to be able to acquire like a product design job, whether that be a junior entry level, whatever it may be. It just didn't seem like the cards were really stacked in the favor of entry level jobs at that point in time. And that's coming from someone who was literally directly recruiting for product designers. So I figured that the best thing that I could do for myself was just to commit to starting a creative marketing design oriented studio slash agency and build that, because I'd rather bet on myself than have someone, I guess, take a bet on me in the like the entry level sphere of job opportunities. So that's kind of how I got into design, and I've been running with that since January 1st was when I officially like hard launched my company. So it's been a crazy journey up until this point.
That's awesome. That's also a mic drop. Always bet on yourself.
Right, 100%.
Yeah, so when the industry went belly up, what made you really, really want to dive in?
Into, I guess, like the studio or like
Into
design.
I'm doing this. The moment you were like, I'm doing this.
What's actually funny? So it's like, I guess, kind of a slightly personal like reasoning, right? So my mom had come down with a sickness that we were dealing with, and it kind of just put a lot of things into perspective, right? So during that time, you kind of see how, I guess, short, I guess, life could be, right? Or how quickly things can change. I used that kind of situation as fuel to say, I'm not getting any younger, and I have this like burning passion to try and do something myself. And what better time than now? Like I feel like if I was just gonna say, oh, what if I tried or what if I did this, it would just be this thing in the back of my head that's like gonna just pierce me and give me more and more anxiety the more I think about it. So I wanted to get ahead of that and just say, hey, even if I fail, I can still look back and say that I gave myself the chance and I tried. And that was enough rationale for me to just go full in from the start. It wasn't even something that I really thought about too much. It was almost at that point like a no brainer to where it was like, I'm gonna do this no matter what.
That's awesome, man. I love doing these interviews because I hear all kinds of stories, like where they came from and where they are now. It's like night and day.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm just getting started, so it's I'm always learning. I think that's also like a big reason for why I wanted to join that brand builder summit was just because like there's so much more I can learn, and I'm trying to just take everything in and go, step by step, and see what else I can add to basically like what I offer. So I always think that there's value in just trying new things, and even if you're not great at it, like at least you kind of understand the process of what goes into it.
Yeah, exactly. So, in our brief conversation, you've said you used Framer to build your website. From start to finish, what was that like?
It was fun. It was fun. So, kind of backtracking a little bit into that product design course that I dived into, it was focused all on basically learning Figma to create these product designs, right? I think that's like, I don't know if it's the industry standard nowadays, but Figma has definitely made its roots into, app design, web design, all that good stuff. And we had basically we're told, or one of our projects was to build out our personal portfolio in Figma and then figure out a way to bring that to life. And through working with my mentor, Alec, he recommended Framer to me. He goes, if you understand Figma, you pretty much are going to be able to understand and pick up Framer very quickly. They go pretty hand in hand together, and then you can start learning Framer's, way of animations and transitions and all that type of stuff to really make it unique in your own. And I was like, yeah, you know what? Why not? I like to have the creative control, and that was a big selling point of Framer to me. When you go and you work with like Squarespace and I guess like other like maybe Shopify or the other ones that I have some familiarity with. I just didn't feel like I could do exactly what I wanted, and I had to work within their like building constraints, which is great. Those platforms are awesome for someone who doesn't want to do like any sort of coding or any sort of like design configuration. But when I landed on Framer, I really wanted to be able to showcase like myself and showcase a little bit more of like what makes me different. And I felt like that was the best way for me to go into that and express myself. So when I dove into that, it probably took me 3 4 weeks from design to development, which I think is a pretty quick turnaround for just like starting it and trying it for your first time, which I think is like all to the integrations with Figma and Framer have together. You can literally just copy and paste your design over, and it can work to a certain extent, right? And I just thought that was really awesome. So I guess that's really it. Like it wasn't too crazy. Again, it was one of those things that kind of just made sense. It's like, okay, if you know Figma, go into Framer. Everything was pretty intuitive. The tools were relatively the same, minus like some keyboard shortcuts being a little bit different. But besides that, it was very easy to pick up. And I really enjoyed just learning like the web dev process of it. And actually, after doing my own website, I figured that I might as well add that to my services. So now a lot of what I do with a good amount of my clients is web design and development in house. So it's nice having those two paired together.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love how you kind of got into Framer because Framer's kind of the runner-up. Figma is
It is.
the big cheese, and Framer's kind of the runner-up. It's less, known out there. And I agree with your points about the website builders being really vanilla. Getting into the DIY stuff like Framer, Figma, all of those. You really show your individuality and creativity more than
Definitely.
using I'll just make a website in Squarespace, see what happens. I did that and I was like, oh, this is crap. Yeah.
There's definitely benefits, right? Because I think like with Squarespace, and especially working with like small businesses or like even personal brands, they may not have the budget to, put into a completely custom website. So with Squarespace, it's kind of like that tool that I've used with some of my clients to go in there and like create them a unique experience to an extent, but then those people can go in and have a little bit easier time like editing it and maintaining it without the need for me, right? So it's, and like, if I'm giving someone access to their framer, you're going to go in and mess with something once and it's going to make your whole website go to shit. So it's it's a little bit different.
Yeah. So how important should branding be to a freelance designer and why from your experiences, Cage?
I mean, obviously being in the world of branding, I'd be doing myself a disservice to say that it's not like the most important thing. I definitely think that when it comes to your own personal brand, that might be the most important thing that you can do as, take yourself out of like the design world, but as a business owner, right? Um, People want to buy from people. People don't want to buy from, large corporations or, stuff like that. At least that's what my ideology is, right? People want to buy stuff that they believe in. They connect with other people that believe in it. And that's kind of like what I build my whole platform on is people want to work or people want to buy and people want to see stuff that's coming from people. People want to look into authentic and different experiences. And that's like my biggest focus. I put a big emphasis on my own personal brand on like LinkedIn, less on Instagram, but I guess I'm more focused on like the B2B realm of things. And I've seen, almost night and day, I guess, like interactions with, client acquisition or client even relationships because I am active on, building out my personal brand and just putting my thoughts out there. And I think it helps me one bring in new clientele and have clients come to me really like naturally, like, hey, I like what you posted, I like what you put out there. I want like, would you be able to do this for my company? Or people come to me where they've seen me on LinkedIn and they'll be like people from my network previously, right? And they'll go, oh, I have a friend of a friend who needs a website and I thought of you. Let me get you connected with this person. And it just is like if you're not putting the effort into building out your personal brand or your digital presence, in my opinion, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot. We live in a digital landscape. We're all in the realm of right now. We're not in a meeting space. We're over Zoom. Everything is moving to the realm of like digital remote work, all that type of stuff. So I think it's probably the most important thing right now that everyone should be on top of.
You're so full of knowledge, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're like a man. You can be someone's mentor with the way you talk.
I
Uh,
appreciate that. It's so funny because
yeah.
I'm just getting started. So I really do appreciate that.
So, how do you overcome creative blocks in a project?
Ooh, that's a great question. So I guess I do, I almost employ this thing that I read from, I think Rick Rubin, The Creative Act, his book he just released. It's like a gray book with a circle and a dot on it. It's like, it's such a hilariously minimalist book. but it gives like his kind of like rationale about design. And the way that I do a lot of like my create my or wherever my creativity strikes is that, um, of course, working with the different clients, you'll take inspiration from like wherever your sources may be, Pinterest, Instagram, random books, all this type of stuff. And I can give you an example of like logo design, right? I will sit there and sketch out like 30 designs and hate every single one of them. And then I will walk away from whatever I'm doing. If I'm not getting to the results that I want, I'll get up, walk away, I'll task shift. And then during that time frame, typically something just comes to me, right? And I'll immediately stop what I'm doing, go back to whatever, the more creative heavy task was, and invest my time back into that. And then, you know, come with some new sort of solution that I'm now vibing with a lot more than I was previously. So I guess I spit out a bunch of stuff, don't love it, come back to it and refine that and look at it again with like a fresh set of eyes once I get like the, bad stuff out, I guess. Either that or like if I'm just like searching for like an overall creative project, right? Or maybe like a passion project or something for like my own brand where there's like maybe a little bit less pressure on me to create something super crazy. I'll just write down a bunch of notes. Like I take notes on every single thing that comes to my mind, whether I'm laying in bed or walking or like playing with my dog, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is a really good idea for a LinkedIn post or a graphic that I can make, or I'm shortly here going to be diving into like video content on Instagram and LinkedIn, and I'm like, oh, this would be a really great idea for the short form video, and like here's how I can engage with it, or here's how these campaigns come. So I think like being in a creative realm, like a creative job is really not a 9 to 5, because of you can't put limits, you can't put time constraints on when you're going to be creative, right? You can set a brainstorming session, but how productive is that going to be if no one's going there and like having ideas, or you didn't sleep well the night before? It's hard to kind of be able to anticipate those creative waves, so you just have to be able to notice when they're coming and then ride them when they do.
That's awesome. That sounds like it could be on a shirt. Ride the creative waves.
I'm sure I got it from someone, so I can't take too much credit.
Okay, so we're breezing through this. We got a few more questions.
Awesome. This has been
So
great so much. Thank you so much again for having me.
yeah, great. I expect you to drop a mic on this one. So what are your
Oh,
words of wisdom you would give to an aspiring designer?
um, drop some wisdom. That's great. Oh gosh, let me think about this one because I want to make sure it's like somewhat impactful.
Yeah, bring the fire.
Um, Maybe I'll just yap and something will come to me. But I would say that like the thing that I feel like I wish that either a lot of people that are want to start their own company, or I guess I've got pushing it into like the designer realm, is that everyone's always afraid to try, right? And I don't think that like the best things in your life are on the other side of failure. So like the first thing that you put together is going to be probably terrible, and like the second thing is going to be probably terrible, but it can be a little bit better than that last thing. And it's all about like that compounding interest of just effort, right? And you're going to get better with time, and people are going to start noticing you more as long as you stay consistent. It's really just like 1% better at something every single day. It's like Atomic Habits, if you've read the book. 1% better every single day like leads to like a marginal increase of like being 37% better throughout that year, right? As long as you're taking those steps forward, there's really nothing that can get in your way besides yourself. And for me, I'm a very like focused on like self growth, and I guess like I'm probably like a little bit too critical of myself, which is I guess like probably what the designer's curse is. But I at least is like I can look back on old stuff, and I do that all the time and go, wow, I've made so much progress. So I would say that maybe like combining all of that into like a one hitter is something that I actually have like written on my mirror, which was, does it frighten you? And then the response is yes. And it goes, that's why you need to do it. Right. So I go, if something is scaring me, then that is just a sure sign that I need to follow through and pursue that journey.
That's awesome. I loved all of that. I was like mic drop after mic drop. Yeah, good stuff.
I love that. I love that. I think I actually got that from like a video game. So, and I think I wrote it down because I was like, that's a great line. I need to use that in my life.
Yeah, and I so agree with the stuff about looking into the rear view mirror of what you did before and saying, look where I am now. I never thought when I was at the beginning I would have gotten this far. So that's
Right.
progress.
100%. And like it's funny because when I had just started getting into like I guess like design, and I do a lot of design. Like 50% of like my I guess my job right now, or having my own studio, is like design work, right? And then the other 50% is like strategy and client management, client relationship building, all that type of stuff. So I really just think that like, and all of this happened, and before that I was a recruiter. I wasn't a designer, I wasn't in a marketing field, I wasn't like in a creative space, and now people pay me to be able to build like their brands and have that trust in me. So I really just think it kind of like boils down to trusting yourself and then just trying. you know am I like the best designer out there in the world? No, and I don't think anyone should like try to claim that, right? you know but like I'm doing my best and I'm working with clients, and those people are walking away happy, right? So I think that that's all that really matters.
Absolutely. So maybe let's do a fun question. What are your tattoos, if you don't mind telling the YouTube?
uh I love it. So I have a full left sleeve, a full leg sleeve. I have my full back done, and then I have my chest done as well, or I guess half of my chest. And I guess I can go into like my most recent one because that's been like probably the most fun, I guess. I have a traditional Japanese back piece of a dragon, and it takes up front to back my whole back. And was getting it done in San Francisco, so I'm now in Vegas. So I've been flying back. I lived in San Francisco for a year, and I found my artist out there. He's from Japan. He's a traditional Japanese artist. I just love Japanese culture. I think it's so fascinating, and I'm super into mythology as well. And being a tattoo fan, traditional Japanese tattoos are like a staple of tattoo community. And I really wanted one, but I didn't know where to put one because I have a plan to my plan is to have a full bodysuit, and I want to have everything that you quote unquote cannot see. So like I don't want to do my neck, I don't want to do my hands, but I want to have everything else pretty much covered. And I was like, okay, well, I have a plan. For my left arm's already done. At that point, I hadn't had my leg done. So I was like, okay, well, I want to do all my limbs. I don't really want to do this part of my chest or my stomach like that. So it's funny because like the back is such a massive canvas that I was like, oh, okay, I really only have one choice, right? I have to get a full Japanese back piece. Um, so I've been doing that and working on that for the past couple of years. I think about 2 years now. I've put 65 hours total into it and 8 sessions. So I have one more session and I'll be done with it, which I'm very excited for. But I go to a tattoo studio called Seventh Sun Tattoo in San Francisco, and my artist is Shun. So if you're listening to this and you like tattoos, go check him out. He's pretty sweet.
Great. I wouldn't even tattoo my pinky. That would hurt too much. I can't even muster how it would feel. Like
It's so
I cannot
brutal.
tolerate pain.
As you say, tattoos don't hurt. You either don't have big enough tattoos or you're just wrong. I don't care.
Right. Right. So how, as we're closing out, how can people connect with you online?
Yes. So I am pretty active on LinkedIn, as I've mentioned, just Cage Castro. And then that's Cagecastro. And then you can also find my company at Tusi Studio, Tusi, and then studio, right? And then I have a platform on LinkedIn or LinkedIn and Instagram for both of those. So connect with me, reach out. I'm always happy to do stuff, like this, or just chop it up with people that are in the same realm as me, in the same industry. It's so funny because before brand builders, I was so isolated and really hadn't talked to like any other people that were doing something that was even remotely similar to what I was doing. So it was like I was on this little island by myself. And now, after brand builders, I have established like some really cool connections that I'm excited to talk to later this week as well, including you, Alyssa. So I'm so thankful for you having me. And yeah, if you guys all want to reach out or have some other cool conversations, let me know. Or talk about tattoos. I'm always down for that as well.
Yeah, it was great having you. I like talking to other creatives and hearing their stories, and just it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm the all fire designer of the world, but because let's be honest, none of us are that.
Right. There shouldn't be too much bravado, I guess, in the design creative space, right? We're not rappers.
Yeah, and everyone listening, the brand builder community is still open, hosted by Jacob Cass. So you can always go in and join and just connect with other designers like us. So
Nice plug.
nice little club. Well, thank you so much, Cage, for joining me today. I really enjoyed our conversation.
Absolutely. Me as well. Thank you again so much for having me.